We are live and
Yeah.
kicking it. Welcome, Patricia Bertelier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right because you're
Oh, you
from
can pronounce it
France.
whatever you want. Bertelier in English, Bertelier in French, doesn't matter really. Patricia is fine.
Patricia. I like Patricia as well. Welcome to your own podcast, Alive and
Yeah,
Kicking It.
yeah, so happy to have my own podcast, right? And thank you
Yes,
to you for making that possible. And so,
I am super honored. Thank you so much. I love this shit. And we actually, you actually chose a topic for its first episode. But before I go even there, let me introduce you a little bit to your own podcast because we're going fast. We're running. How do you call that? There's like this saying in Dutch where you're running beside your shoes, like you're going faster.
yeah,
I don't know if it makes any sense in English.
fine.
But that's like me walking beside my shoes.
Okay.
So Patricia, you are a certified facilitator, which is basically, if people don't know what that is, it is as a facilitator. You like ask questions, so people get to know what's true for them. So there's like more possibilities in their life, and this is with the tools of access consciousness, which I know and love as well. So I love what you do. You're also you love writing poetry. And you love biking. And which sort of brings me right back to the little conversation before we started going live about Alive and Kicking It. Like, what made you choose to have the podcast and why that name?
The podcast and many other things, actually, even my access consciousness activities and everything, is just because I've seen so many people who are alive. True, they are alive, but they are not kinking it at all because they are in the midst of illnesses or bad health, or they're not fit enough, or they go into trauma and drama, whatever. They are here, they are living, they are alive. They're more sort of surviving than being alive and kicking it. And you can be alive and kicking it at any age. Okay, I'm something like nearly 65 now.
But she's
And
a living example of alive and kicking it. Like,
yeah, I've no boundaries, actually. It's just I do what I desire
I
to
love
do.
that.
Okay. And it's I'm not judging, it's not out of judging people who don't do that, or it's just that we're here in our body, not for too long. Can you it's freezing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
So that's good. We're not in our body for very long, are we? So let's make the best.
A year or 40, 50, 60, 80 maybe.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't care about that. But it's magic. Our bodies are magical beings, really. They are, and I'm so honored and I'm so pleased and happy and joyful to have my body, to be in my body, because then I can do so much things. I mean, it's pleasure all the way around.
I love what you say. I wanna pick up on that because, like, the name of this podcast episode is "You're the Key." You're the key in the lock, and you're talking about bodies. So, is your body a key?
Exactly.
And what can you tell us about that?
You got it. Well, for me, my body has been the key, and it is the key to the lock. Now, I will start with the lock because it's the lock to the door of the fortress we sort of imprison ourselves quite young, actually. The fortress that we imprison ourselves inside, behind heavy locked doors, because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to, yes, mainly to be heard, or we don't want to disappoint others or to disappoint ourselves. We don't, all the things we don't want to, or all the things our family, school, whatever, society at large have put us, you know?
Yeah, so actually all the things that we think that we need to protect ourselves from.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
And we build these walls, and it's a fortress. When you get to my age, when you're something like, well, I realized I was behind that quite early, but anyway, some people never get out of that fortress, but the older you get, the thicker the walls get.
Right. Because you have like more things you think you need to protect yourself from.
Because
yeah. Okay.
You get that thing that you must not be vulnerable. You must be invulnerable.
Wow. You must
That's
not be weak.
Life in this reality, you know, being invulnerable. And that's, well, my principle in my reality is to be as much vulnerable as I can be, which is totally the contrary, the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And I got that. So, and when I am that, I'm not always, but more and more, when I am that vulnerability, then I am out of the fortress. Wow. And I'm free.
So what is that? Like, because like vulnerability, I remember when, this is like a word that, well, I'm not native English, but when I've heard that word many times before. And first off, for me, vulnerability brought up like the opposite of like, yeah, no, that's like being weak. And I never wanted to be weak because I thought I was weak, but I wasn't actually really weak. Fortress, you know, those walls that we have against others and actually against ourselves. But like I started discovering that vulnerability is so not what I thought it was. So what is vulnerability? And like, how did you practice that with yourself to get where you are right now, to be like open and vulnerable?
What it is for me, what vulnerability is for me now is being my true potency, right? It's my strongness, which is like, sounds like an oxymoron, sort of, you know, very opposite. But, and how did I get to that? It's because of my body, thanks to my body, right? My body was the key for me to unlock the fortress of invulnerability. Invulnerability. It's difficult to say in English, isn't it? I'd lock myself in. And it's because, well, it started with, and that's when my biking experience comes in, because I'd been a few years back, something like 10 or 15 years ago, I don't know. I started going for ultra distance biking, and which means that you ride events, bikepacking events, for something like, it depends. It can go from 300 kilometers to 2,000 kilometers. Actually, there's no limit. But you have to do them as fast as possible. And then you just, when you train for that, you go, I went riding for hours and hours, something you start with 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, and then it's 24 hours in a row.
24 hours biking in a row?
Yeah, all through the night. Like,
wow.
It's just pleasure. So, I mean, at one time, you're out of your comfort zone, obviously, with your body. Yeah. Okay? Your mind is out of its comfort zone. But my body has always been in its comfort zone. Actually, I got I got to get that my body just loved that.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
it got to be playing. But for you to get that, for your body to be that, you have to do things from relaxation. You have to be vulnerable in your mind. You have to allow everything to come to you. Tiredness, exhaustion, the mechanical problems, issues of all kinds, because things keep happening. It's not a smooth journey, never. But for these 24 hours or for these 5 days, it can last 5 days. The longest I did was 2 weeks. Okay. And well, and at one point your body is there, and because of your body, you get that you are that superpower. Your body is a superpower. And you as well. When you get to trust your body and you trust the universe, and yeah, it is trust in the universe, because whatever comes your way, is good or bad, is always going to give birth or to create other possibilities. And that's being vulnerable.
I love that. So you've given a lot of cool things. And this is like a question that, if I may be vulnerable with you about me, about being vulnerable, that was never like my easy go-to place. I really had to learn and force myself, and using access tools to get there. And one of the things that I've noticed for myself is I had so much judgment going on about me. I wasn't trusting in the universe. I wasn't even fucking trusting myself, because I would always let myself down for judging me. That was my number one thing going on. And I never was really aware of it until the universe gave me stuff to look at, to have new possibilities. So I really love that. Could you so for me, one of the things was really look at all the self-judgments. What was it for you? Because you said at one point in the beginning that I was aware of my own fortress, and I started my journey of vulnerability. What practical tools did you use to get where you are?
You mean the access consciousness tools?
Yeah, or anything, whatever. For me, it was a tool that's from Access, but anything, biking. Biking is one of them. You went for it, and I'm sure not everybody is oh, I'm just gonna go and do this, because it's impossible.
It's true, but before the access tools, well, they really come in very handy, and they've opened so many doors and so many spaces and possibilities, for creation or whatever. But before that, it was just that since I can remember, I've always grown or got bored of the things I could be doing very fast.
I recognize something there.
Yeah, I can't do the same thing twice. I have to. I just have to go a bit further, or to do it differently, or to, I've always have to go for more. So that's what I got. That was like this very early, because that was my difference with lots of people. But all of us are that, actually. But I got that pretty young. So I always kept it and used it and was that. But I used it too, because I knew that whenever I was stuck in a situation or in a place, I would grow fed up, bored, and I could be violent at times about that too. Violent with myself or whatever. I knew that.
Can you name us some examples of that violence?
Well, it would be, for example, it would be when I started biking something like more than 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So, for example, it would be a bike crash, a severe one. I would break bones. I would stay put for something like 3 months, being unable to move or whatever. Or I could sort of break the relationship I was in just like this, in 1 second, over, bye-bye. Or at one time, for example, I was living in Scotland. I just decided overnight to just leave everything, go, leave, and, because you choose, you provoke things. For example, at one time too, I was living, when I was in Scotland, I was something like 22 years old. I was not very unhappy about everything I was living, really, and the people I was surrounded with. So I understood that after that, but one night, the caravan I lived in just burnt to the ground. Nothing left. I was not in my caravan, but it burned. So I was there in Scotland. I had nothing, just my name.
Wow.
And that was it. But I went back. I left Scotland then because I created that. I showed that. I created it.
Okay? So was it like violent, or was it like being that
was violent?
Powerful?
That was, yeah, but violence is always something, it also is powerfulness, isn't it?
Yeah, because when you look in nature, when there's like a natural disaster, it comes across as a violence, and it is like, but when you see what is possible after that, when there's like a natural disaster, is it a disaster, or to come at the beginning or in the middle? I can't remember where you said, is it
generation or regeneration too? Okay. And that also is in the title of the podcast, Kicking It. Okay. It's part of it. And it's okay with me.
I really love that. Thank you.
So just, you be that. You be that. You know that you are that power, that potency, and can create things. But now what I like about using the Access Consciousness tools is that I am aware of everything I choose.
Could you tell us a bit more about that? What do you mean with that? You're aware of what you choose?
I'm aware for it. Well, I always one of the most powerful tools in Access Consciousness is questioning, being the questions, not to get answers, just ask the questions. This has got so that molecules can change, disseminate, dissipate, make space for something else that the universe feels fit to introduce into your life. I'm not going to go into that anyway, but questioning is, I always start my day, and it has become automatic, not automatic in the sense that it is unconscious, but it's there every minute. What today, what can I create? What is this here? I'm a bit, I'm tensing up. So what is it? What can I do with it? Am I going to keep that? What can I do with it? And that's it. No answers. I don't care about answers. But just, it's just going to dissipate, dissolve by magic, because that's magic. That's what magic is, really. And I have no judgment about that. What I feel, I don't go into emotion, or today is very bad. No, I don't go into that. Feelings or emotion. It's just, I'm aware of what is here, what my body tells me, because you can feel everything in your body. When I say tense, it's because my body is getting tense. I feel that in my stomach most often, or my shoulders are going to get, as if I was wearing a heavy burden, or sometimes I get this like sound, like, I don't know, in the ears, and my neck here is going tense. So I know something is up.
Right. Which brings us actually back to where you were talking about being vulnerable, because like when you don't reject it, like, oh, I'm in pain, or like it's probably because I ate something wrong, or it's probably because I didn't do sport, or probably because. But when, wow, I love that vulnerability of like looking at it and asking a question about it.
Yeah,
so,
and once more, my body is the key.
What is the key?
My body is the key. Yeah. Because I'm listening to it. And I don't go, oh, buddy, you're not working today. I've enough. You're not good enough for what I've got to do. Come on. It's just, I listen to it because now it's the more you listen to it, the more you go into subtlety. And then you can hear what he says. I say he, but what he says, because very fast. And because I go asking questions right away, or maybe sometimes I choose to wait a little, it depends. Everything's okay. You can play. I always play. I keep playing all the day anyway. And then, because sometimes I like being sad. I choose to be sad.
Guilty. Guilty pleasure. Let's swallow it. Sadness today.
Yeah, or I like being tired, because then I can just lie in the sofa for an hour or two, watch a stupid film on Netflix or whatever, and then bam, I'm back again. But and then once with the questions, my body tells me, I ask question, and then the door is unlocked by magic. The tension or the fortress I was in for a wee moment, everything unlocks, But my body is always the key. I always start with my body.
And is then what you can consider that your mind is the lock, because your mind goes into finding a reason, logic, that kind of a stuff, and then, wow.
My mind and everything that's been put in my mind by this reality.
And there's what pops as well is like what you said describes so well, like what does your body know that your what your head doesn't understand?
Mm-hmm.
What is your body aware of? Could you give us some examples of where your body was like telling you things, was like giving you awareness that you could have never gotten with your mind?
Gosh, I should have prepared some examples. I'm not very good because I never keep any memories of what happened in the past. I'm always
You're not a head tripper like me.
So I don't. Something happened yesterday. What happened yesterday with my body? I had. Yes, I suddenly not my heart, but just I think how do you call this in English? The plexus, solar plexus.
Solar plexus, yes.
Yeah, the solar plexus sort of contracted. I was on my back, it contracted, and I couldn't breathe as well as I am used to doing. And I had been riding by lots of farm buildings, and there was a dog there that was on a chain. It was chained, and the dog was howling because I don't know. It was, and so okay, body, who does that belong to? That's one of the two access consciousness tools. What is it? Is that yours? Who does that belong to? And I knew that it was the dog's.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
dogs, or maybe the dog's owners who abused the dog, obviously, or whatever, but it was there. That energy of abuse and that energy of hurting others because you've been hurting yourself or whatever was there. And just I was riding past this farm building, I got that. Because right before I was okay, and then, wow.
Wow, I love that.
So you
I
see
mean,
it.
not that the dog was not well, but
No, of
no,
course not. But
that your
just
body is like giving you that information.
It is.
That is actually magic.
But that's being vulnerable, because
Yeah.
when you get out of it, when you let your body tell you or give you all the information it senses and you have no judgment about it, it's information. These are energies. The energies were there. I went by, so I got the energy, but I don't want to keep it. It's not mine.
Yeah. Is this then also the trust that you were talking about, to like trust that your body knows, and then actually like trusting the information that comes in? Like, because like I've done that with myself. Like, is this real? Like, am I aware of this dog? Am I aware of like this dog is very unhappy? Am I making this up? Am I insane? Is that like that trust where you were talking
Yeah,
about?
it's that trust, and it's the trust in my body, and two, it's the trust in the relationship I have with my body and my body has with me.
Wow.
You
Is
see?
this
It goes
okay?
both
Go a little
ways.
bit further. So trusting you, trusting your body, trusting you, getting the information, trusting the universe. Can you?
Of course.
Like you piqued my interest over there.
Well, our bodies and the universe are the same molecules. So we are our bodies, much more than our bodies. We are the universe. You know, before that, I was reading this beautiful article in the New York Times about forests. And maybe if I find it, that's how I feel. Well, everything is in it for me. So let me see.
We can share it, you mean, in the podcast here?
Yeah, I could do share. Or no, because I've got two different computers. I can't open StreamYard.
You can give it to me later, and I'll add it.
Yeah.
For
But
everybody who's interested, I'm interested.
Yeah, I'll probably write an article about it in my blog anyway. So,
Awesome.
yes, it is said, and it's, from The Overstory, which is a brilliant book about trees and forests. And
What's
it
the
has
title?
The Overstory. Overstory.
The Other Story. Okay, cool.
It's brilliant. And it says, there are no individuals. There aren't even separate species. Everything in the forest is the forest. Yeah, you get it? It's wow.
Mic drop.
So,
that makes me want to. I've been like this week all teary of gratitude and all these beautiful things and beautiful people. I think I'm going to cry again.
That's being vulnerable too. Crying, laughing, smiling, moping. Everything's okay,
Wow.
Love that.
For the moment. Patricia, I've seen we've already been like a nice 30 minutes. Is there anything that you would like to? I know it goes so fast. Is there anything that you would like to? Well, we've already had like a mic drop bomb moment. Is there anything else that you would like to leave? You have like another bomb? Say goodbye.
Okay,
kicking? Is that the kicking that you talk about?
Yeah, that's kicking it.
Bomb here, little bomb there.
Okay. Well, Ivy, thank you. Really, thank you. Thank you to you. okay? Because you're the one who, well, created this, who had the idea for it, and you just love it. Okay.
It was my absolute pleasure and absolute teamwork. Thank you so much for what you've shared here, and
thank you for you letting me share it.
Yeah.
Really.
And for everybody who is watching this right now and will be watching this in the future, I will provide with a bunch of cool links, because Patricia, as you already mentioned, you write blogs, you like poetry, you have a brand new beautiful website that's designed by a Jeannie. She has a beautiful French name that I can't.
Yeah.
Do you know the name in French?
Jeanne Ouria.
Devant les.
Devant les. Yes.
Her last name.
And her brother, Aladdin.
Yes.
Aladdin
Devant les. Who also created the beautiful branding of this podcast. So it's awesome teamwork, and I'm honored and grateful, and can't wait for the next episodes and what else and your other topics. And have a beautiful Sunday, everybody.
And same, absolutely.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.